Good afternoon. I want to welcome everybody to our webinar today. My name is Kim Gonzalez. I am an application engineer with Progression Technologies, and today I'm going to do a real quick webinar on some EPDM support information. The webinar is mainly going to be about where to collect the log files to send to support when you need further help from us. Now, some of the common issues, this is just a small list, there's a few others, but some of the issues that customers call in for help are issues with login problems, or the preview window in EPDM is not displaying a preview, or they may have problems with their task when they convert files or try to print files when they run them through their workflow. Now, some of these problems you can, if you know where to look, you can try to troubleshoot them and resolve them yourself. Some of the ones as far as login problems, things you can look for is to see if the refused login is checked. And that would be found in the admin tool. If you come over to your start menu, go back. You come over to your start menu, all programs, and select on SOLIDWORKS Enterprise PDM. There is an administration tool. And you would have to log into the administration tool. When you go to a particular user in the admin tool and you select on administrative permissions, there is a checkbox down at the very bottom of the list called Refuse Login. If that is checked, that could be one reason a user can't log in. So that's something you could check for yourself. Another one is block logins. This is in the Vault properties. So if you right-click in the admin tool on the Vault that you're working with, select Properties, there is a block logins. So this toggles back and forth to either permit logins or to block it. A lot of times the admins will use this to lock out everyone of the Vault when they're doing backups or restores. So you can check that to see if that's been blocked. Sometimes in login issues there are communication issues with the server, and you can check that server and ping it. Go into the admin tool, and this would be your server name, your archive server. And then you could go into the CMD when you go through the start menu, and you could do a ping to see if it's pinging, and you would look to see if there's any lost packets. If there are lost packets, then you could contact support and we could further assist you. Now with preview windows, sometimes the preview window in the EPDM window will not display previews. Two things that could be happening is the eDrawings is not properly registered. And that's an easy fix. You just open eDrawings, and if it's not registered, it'll prompt you to do so at that time. You could also do an uninstall and reinstall of eDrawings, and here are the steps listed that you can do to do that uninstall, reinstall. Now, the third issue that I'm pointing out here, sometimes there are problems with the task. In the admin tool, you'll see there are tasks here that you can convert files or print files or so forth. And sometimes there's problems with that. If you go to the Task Details dialog box, you can collect information from there and send that to support for further review. And to do that, you would view the dialog box in the EPDM admin tool under Task by double-clicking the task list. Then another dialog box would open up, and if there are failed task, you would see them. You would double-click the failed task, and then this dialog box will pop up. Under the General tab, you will see an error message or an error code in there, and you could send this information to support for further assistance. This would help us to better troubleshoot your errors. Other issues with task problems, you can also go set up notifications when an error occurs, and you can specify who that notification can be emailed to, and there will be a link in that to an error log. So in our admin tool, you would go to your task and you would open that desired task, and you would see the properties dialog for that task. Go to error notification, and you can follow through here and set up your notifications and who should receive them. When that email is sent, there will be a link to an error log, and you can collect that error log and send that to support. That would further help us. Now, beyond some of the simpler issues and things that we could not help you with over the phone, because most of the time if you call us in, we can help you with the issues over the phone or get back to you shortly. Sometimes we need to look further into this, and we need the error logs to look into. There is a local log, and you would get to that by clicking on your vault, selecting your vault and logging into it, and then you go to View Local Log File, and that would bring up the log file for that vault. And then you come in here and copy those logs, and those could be sent to us. There are also archive server logs, and that would be accessed by right-clicking on the server name, selecting Show the Archive Server Log, and then you can copy those logs as well and send them to us. Now, I think most people that work with PDM and the admins are familiar with these two logs, and they are helpful. They give us a lot of information at times to help you troubleshoot things. But there is another tool that I think some people are not as aware of, and that's the main thing I wanted to bring up in this webinar. There is a Collect Support Information tool. And this brings up a lot more information and collects a lot more data than just the two logs that I showed previously. To get to this one, you right-click on the specific vault that you have interest in, and there is a Collect Support Information tool there. A wizard will come up, and you can select there what you want to collect. You notice that there is the Archive Server Log. And down here is the client log, the local log, but there are several other bits of information that this is collecting for us. So sometimes this could be additional information that we may need to help troubleshoot it. So this gives us a lot more than those two logs by themselves. From that, you go to the next window, and you can also add additional files or folders to this packet. If you select Add Files or Folders, it'll bring up the open dialog box, and you can browse through your vault or wherever to collect additional files to add to this packet. Then you're able to create a backup if we ask you to. If we need a backup of the SQL server, we will ask you to do this. Otherwise, leave it selected at Do Not Create Backup. Then there is a text box available to you to type in any additional information you think that may be helpful to the support tech. And then the next and last step allows you to create the package. You can browse to select a folder to put the zip file in and name the zip file, and then you select Finish. When this is done, you just take the resulting zip folder and you send it to support, and we can dig into these log files and reports, and we can gather the information we need to hopefully troubleshoot your problem. So I hope this was informative. I don't think many people are aware of that collect support information. They're more familiar with the two log files, but again, this gives us a little bit more information. Sometimes this is required to dig deeper into there to troubleshoot your issue.